wrestling fans, the following contest, it is for 3 falls.
It is the Three Falls Podcast with your hosts, Sharpshooter Derek Schluter,
The best there is!
Matt Professor Pepper,
That's a spoiler!
and wrestling enthusiast Michael Punga.
And away we go.
1, 2, 3!
As AEW and WWE prepare to open for business, so we've been open this entire time. It's the Three Falls Podcast. I'm Derek, joined as always by the Professor Matt Pepper. Matt, what are you up to this week?
I worked. I played some Xbox. I watched some wrestling, not tons, but enough. And some good stuff I'd like to talk about today. And of course, the highlight of my week is seeing you.
Wow. Very, very thrilling. Speaking of thrilling, we got the man that is the thrill of the show, if you will. Well, Pepper's the thrill. I present to you the wrestling enthusiast, Mike Punga. Mike,
Hey.
how are you doing this week? I hope you're doing way better than Pepper, who sounded like he was falling asleep as he was telling us.
Well, I'm doing really good. You know, this is the second week in a row I've actually been on the show. You know, I haven't missed it. Wow, I'm almost shocked.
Well, that's because we had cut you due to budget cuts, but
yeah,
Pepper ended up finding some tooth
now.
fairy. Yeah, he ended up finding some tooth fairy money under a pillow, and I found some coins in the couch. So we were able to get, some pay for you for the next couple of weeks.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I thank you very much.
We also put your face on the side of a milk carton. So, but fortunately,
I actually picked that milk carton up from the store, and I thought, wow, that's a pretty good picture of me.
Sorry, I didn't see it. I drink my milk from a bag.
Hey, we put this in the U.S. because Punga's a pseudo-American.
Well,
Apple pie, 4th of July, and Michael Punga.
you know what? Hey, listen, soon enough. And,
Hey, sidebar. Do you know which wrestler actually sells milk cartons as merchandise?
Kurt Angle.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, I got one.
Well, fellas, we have lots to talk about this week. But before we begin on that, I want to open up a small discussion here. Because believe it or not, this week marks because believe it or not, this week marks the 10-year anniversary of the famous Pipe Bomb promo from CM Punk. It happened on June 27th, 2011 at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada.
One of the most iconic moments, especially in the last 20 years.
10 years?
We'll go 20.
Can you actually believe that it's been like a decade since this has happened?
I can't believe that. Because I remember how much buzz that had. Like, I watched it probably like 10 times after that.
All right. Well, let's get into this now. First of all, I want to ask you guys, do you remember where you were when you were watching this? Or if not, what were you doing when you heard about it or you seen it?
I remember seeing it online, to be honest. Unfortunately, I didn't see it live or anything like that. So, but yeah, I just remember seeing it lot, and I was watching it, thinking to myself, oh boy. But yeah, how about you guys?
I remember I was actually watching this Raw, but I believe I mean, nothing changes, I guess. I think I was asleep or I wasn't paying attention when this was going down. Not when this was going down, when the match, because he interrupted a match. So I wasn't really paying attention, and all of a sudden, I guess like CM Punk came out, like I heard him or something, and I started catching on while he was talking, and I was just like, give me popcorn. Like, this is awesome. He's pulling no punches, and this is like stuff that is kind of taboo. He's breaking the fourth wall, saying hi to Colt Cabana. I thought it was something else. How about you, Pepper? Where were you?
I can't remember. I want to say I watched it live because I remember I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Yeah. And I had watched CM Punk lots at that time, but it almost seemed like the chains had just fallen off, or he threw them off. Because that was during the match was Cena against R-Truth, if I remember correctly. And Cena went through a table and he's lying on the mat, and Punk's just berating him on the mic. And the stuff he was saying, like you mentioned, the Colt Cabana thing, like he literally turned his head and waved to the camera and was like, "Hey, Colt Cabana," which, by the way, I think Colt Cabana put out a shirt that said, "Hey, Colt Cabana," if I remember correctly, right after that.
Jared, can you vouch for that?
Yeah, he had something like that. Yeah. In fact, I think that was a shirt that I purchased from him in Miami. I think it was like a "Hey Colt Cabana" shirt, or
I
"Hey
think it was
Colt" shirt.
So I just remember he's name dropping New Japan and Ring of Honor. The big line was, "The only thing you're better at than me is kissing Vince McMahon's ass," and it was just like he totally broke the fourth wall down. Like,
and he called Triple H a doofus.
What? Yeah, was his idiot daughter and doofus son-in-law? Was that the line? Yes.
Yeah.
And he said that what was the comment about Vince? He's like, it's never going to change until he dies or something like that.
Well,
which makes you go ahead, Tommy.
Here's where I want to just point out that 10 years later, CM Punk is still right in a sense. Yes.
Well, you mean Triple H is still a doofus 10 years later?
Well, no, I said something.
Well, I might agree with that.
Well, the way I don't disagree with that, I disagree with that because Triple H has done a lot for the NXT brand. He's done a lot to promote wrestlers, superstars, and female and male. He loves the Japanese style wrestlers, superstars,
Manga.
And yeah.
Can I just intervene there?
Absolutely.
Because Triple H is talking to him as a colleague, not as a mentor. Or CM Punk's talking about him as a colleague.
Okay, so let me just interrupt you guys here because you guys are kind of going off. I got a couple questions about this discussion. Yeah. You took it away from me.
Okay, sorry.
So now we talked. I guess we kind of answered this, why the promo was so iconic. And it was because it kind of broke up the monotony of WWE at the time. For a couple of years, it was stale in the 2009, 2010, and even half of 2006. I mean, we got to remember, we're coming off of those Raw GM, guest GM days and everything like that.
God help us.
And I think this was after the WrestleMania where we had like the anonymous Raw GM, which was the laptop. I believe this was after that.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, we're coming off it was a pretty dark time when you look back at it. Like, it was kind of stale, losing a lot of its fan base. And this promo, breaking the fourth wall, coming out, it was almost like he was cracking the glass ceiling, if you will. And not only that, it got a lot of attention on ESPN and everywhere else. A lot of people thought this was an actual unscripted shoot promo that was not planned at the time. In fact, towards the end of the promo, they even pretended, cut off his mic, quote unquote. So with this promo, what we saw afterwards, let's talk about what we saw afterwards. And I'm not just talking about CM Punk, I'm talking about the wrestling industry, most namely WWE. Do you think this promo, I mean, I kind of answered the question, but maybe you guys have a different opinion. Do you think this promo revolutionized or changed the course of WWE?
Matt, you want to go first?
It did in the short term because you were able to create a rebellious character. And they did do really good business probably 5-6 years after that. The only problem that I would have a hard time saying long term it changed the business because you talked about Raw being stale before this. I think we reverted back to pre-CM Punk pipe bomb promo in 2020.
And I agree with you there. Now, Mike, do you have anything you want to add before I say?
Well, I was just gonna say that, you know, in a sense that I feel like it did change as far as backstage, or as far as maybe Triple H's role, Triple H and Stephanie's role, because after that, I thought that Triple H, and I know he was talking to him as a colleague and stuff like that, not as mentor, but I think Triple H stepped up after that promo, not because of that promo maybe, but he stepped up and revolutionized his own ideas in his own way.
So I got a question for you, Mike. I got a question for you. Do you think that NXT as we know it and all the stars, the Daniel Bryans, the Shinsuke Nakamura's, the Samoa Joes, do you think that they would all be employed by WWE and that we would have NXT, the brand that we have, and all that if this promo didn't happen?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I think Punk definitely revolutionized something with his speech, scripted or unscripted. I think he did. He knows how to talk and he knows how to get his voice across. We all know that. So I do believe that all these guys would not be where they are today, in the WWE or elsewhere, if it wasn't for that promo.
Matt, do you have anything you would like to add to that?
I think that CM Punk, as well as Daniel Bryan, kicked the door open for that independent talent to work in the WWE, and I think that was Punk was
Here's the question. Before you go on, does Daniel Bryan get re-signed if this promo didn't happen? Because at this time he was a free agent. Because I don't think he was signed, and I don't think he came back until August of 2011.
Is this when he got fired?
Yes, I gotta double check that, and let me just double check that, and I will let you know. But let's come back to that. I'm going to check.
Okay.
No, I just think that put a lot of attention on talent that comes from outside the WWE system.
You know what? Yeah. I am wrong. He came back at SummerSlam 2010, so he was with the company at that time.
That was in that 5-on-5 match.
Yes,
which I'd love to talk about one day, but that's a whole other. I think I'd have to see what he was doing at the time of the pipe bomb, but I think that
he was on SmackDown.
Okay.
He was he won, actually I believe he won the world title in September or October, like not too long, like in the fall of that year.
Well, I think he probably would have been okay, but I think that I don't think the independent talent would have had the attention they had without the pipe bomb promo. Punk really kicked the door open for everybody that's not like a bodybuilder or jacked up guy or part of the freak show in wrestling. He was somebody that grew up loving wrestling, wasn't a bodybuilder, never had the best physique, could work, but had a lot of charisma and was unafraid on the mic. The thing with the pipe bomb, I'll say this, it came off genuine. And if people think there's any sense of reality in a promo where somebody rocked the boat, that's what people are looking for. They want to believe in what people are saying and doing. And Punk, on the interview, talked about how he was leaving at the end of the month.
Now, an interesting part of this was what made it Dance with Reality was at this point in time, Punk was coming to the end of his WWE contract, and he was in negotiations.
Yep.
So a lot of people thought that he just went into business for himself, and that he knew like he was going to have one foot out the door.
Right. And that really opened a lot of leverage for him. Truthfully, I believe, and I think this is accurate, is he signed a new agreement on the day of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Which brings me to what the fallout from this, as it pertains to CM Punk. So he got a title match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which was in Chicago, which of course is his hometown. And I mean, the ovation that he got was thunderous. It was tremendous. I remember that.
Yeah.
So then after this, there was a Comic-Con panel where he traded barbs with Triple H. And then, I mean, things started to go a little bit downhill then he had a match with John Cena at SummerSlam. Then things started to go downhill because he was attacked by, what's that?
This is the whole Triple H, the Kevin Nash.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let me get to it. Because he was attacked by Kevin Nash, and Alberto Del Rio cashed in his Money in the Bank and beat Punk for the title. Is that right?
Cashed in,
yeah. And then Punk lost to Triple H at Night of Champions.
That's the one that never made any sense.
And then Punk was pinned by Alberto Del Rio in Hell in a Cell, which was a triple threat match. So, yeah, I mean, he just kind of...
I mean, he was able to keep himself over, but those are some big losses. Like Triple H comes out of obscurity for one match, wins, and then goes back to the office. That's
like, do you think that killed Punk's momentum?
And that for that face run that hurt him, but at the same time, I mean, if I remember correctly, like he was pretty hot. Like he was on the cover of the 2K game. Like
I do want to mention this because this is important.
Yeah.
In November, at Survivor Series, he regained the WWE Championship from Alberto Del Rio, which set a 434-day run, which ended at the 2013 Royal Rumble, where he lost the title to The Rock.
Right. So the thing with that, and Punk was able to make it work. I really don't like when when wrestlers are champions and they turn babyface or heel in the middle of their run. And that's what happened with that one. He so if I remember correctly, he won the title. The Shield debuted during his title run. That was it. Wasn't that
Survivor Series? It was either Survivor Series or I think TLC or something like that.
It's against Ryback, right?
Yeah, something like
The Shield debuted, so the Shield were supposed to like kind of guard him or something initially, and then anyway he turned heel. He's with Paul Heyman, and that was a really good run. But I think going back to the pipe bomb when he was red hot as the champion, he shouldn't have lost the title for that. He should have carried that all the way to the WrestleMania at least.
Well, I just want to mention that he was champion at WrestleMania, but he did not main event WrestleMania. He defended his title against Chris Jericho, and I don't know if you ever saw this WrestleMania, but the main event was The Rock and John Cena.
Yeah, I must have missed that one.
Well, the thing is, he still should have kept the title up until WrestleMania because it's interrupted with those crappy storylines with Triple H,
especially with Kevin Nash, because he never had a match against Kevin Nash.
So that whole storyline didn't make any sense. Nash jumps him and then says he got a text to stick the winner, and then they had that awkward shoot promo on Raw where
I remember that.
He's talking about Punk looks like a guy that works in a soup kitchen or something like that.
Yeah, where we call him skinny fat and that.
That was bad.
So I just want to mention this at this point. You know, if you've been listening over the last couple of weeks, you know I just recently finished the Timeline series with Kevin Nash of Timeline of 1995.
Yeah.
During that shoot interview or whatever you want to call it, this took place right after that run. So he kind of shit on the run himself, saying that it didn't really make any sense or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
he was Diesel at the Royal Rumble, and then they come back, and he's like Kevin Nash, and he's attacking CM Punk, and he's not going to wrestle, have a match against him or anything. So he even thought it was stupid.
Well, because they tried to make him like that laughing, smiling baby face, but what got him over was like beating people up. And
yeah, he was Deadpool. He was essentially just Deadpool, right? So imagine if you took Deadpool and you have him saving, like being like Spider-Man, right?
They tried to morph Vinny Vegas into Diesel. It's just awful.
Oh, I thought you were talking about CM Punk.
No, I'm talking about Nash.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Punk. Okay.
Punk, no, but Punk, if you go through that run and there's clips of all the barbs he lays on people, he was pretty good. There was a line where he knocks Triple H about something about a movie or something like that, and Triple H is like, "Yeah, what movie are you in?" He goes, "Mine's coming out straight to DVD like yours," because Triple H did that. What was that dumb movie where he's the chaperone or something like that?
You just said it.
Chaperone. Anyway, the promo was iconic. Punk was red hot, white hot at the time, and I think unfortunately, and you could say this about it comes up with guys like Paul Heyman all the time, where they're very vocal and they're always pushing for other things that because of office politics, it doesn't always work in your favor. And Punk's not an office guy. Punk is he's probably one of the last like renegade type guys in wrestling because
I would think so.
He was Piper. He was just like Piper.
Yeah, he would be the modern day version of Piper.
Yeah.
And that's somebody he always talks about too in promos. Like he always puts over Piper because Piper he didn't care. He would just he would do his thing. He'd protect his business, and that's the big problem in wrestling. Because you can go too far protecting your business, but today nobody protects their business, and that's why you don't see too many really over wrestlers in wrestling.
All right, Mike. Any last words about the pipe bomb promo?
You know what? For 10 years ago, I haven't seen a promo that chaotic in a long time. And I could be wrong, and maybe I'm blind to promos, but that was one iconic speech that, it had to be said. Punk was a great man to have that, and, I do miss him. I do miss those promos. I do miss Punk in the business, but memories. That's about it. Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, let's move on and let's talk about the news of the week. Matt, do you have anything, or do you want me to start off? I got some news. Can you believe it? I have some news. It's not big news, but I have some news.
Drop some hot news on me.
Drop some hot news on you. All right. Well, how about this? AEW and WWE are set to go back on the road next month.
Mm-hmm.
AEW's first show will be outside of Jacksonville, Florida, or the first one outside is scheduled for July 7th. Well, the main roster event, WWE's first main roster event, will be the July 16th edition of SmackDown. And both companies are planning to remain on the road, and they are selling ticket sales. Now, the funny part about it is that WWE is not selling as well as they hope, and that their ticket sales are looking scary bad, according to Dave Meltzer.
Scary.
Weren't they moving like crazy last week?
WWE has sold under 2,000 tickets so far at a lot of venues they are running. And actually, this is kind of funny because just before we came on the air, my good buddy Jay Love sent me a message, and it was a link, and their show in Detroit, they're selling their tickets for buy one, get one free.
Wow.
So
Thing.
they're both running AEW and WWE are both running shows in Charlotte, Jacksonville, Dallas, and Miami. WWE is performing well in the Dallas market, but AEW is ahead of them in Charlotte and Miami.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, all I have to say to that is that Charlotte, North Carolina, and Miami, Florida are closer in vicinity to all these AEW fans they can travel to very easily. And WWE is always good in Texas for some, they're always selling in Texas. So that's good. The point I want to make about the ticket sales and people not going out to these events is that a lot of people just got back to full capacity baseball games and basketball games. Like, they're slowly going to come back to wrestling events, but it's going to take some time, and WWE is going to have to, market that accordingly wherever, go to the spots and locations where they know, like Detroit, for example. We're not going to be, unless the border opens, we're not going. Sorry.
That's a good point.
We're not, like, Canadian, we're done. We can't go. So unless they come to Toronto or London, because the border closures, because of the pandemic, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And which sucks because you got Cleveland, you could go Buffalo, Cincinnati, where was the other one? Columbus and Detroit, for that matter. Grand Rapids is a big one. So all these locations, it'll take time for them to start selling more tickets out there and people being comfortable to go to wrestling events. So that was the point that I wanted to make on that. So, but.
Well, it's what is the actual market like dictating right now? It's a lot of people are. Is everybody going to run out to go to wrestling right now? Maybe in some markets. Some markets are. I guess it depends on the people. My guess is, as you get closer to some of these shows, you're probably going to see a lift in tickets because some people probably need something to do. Most of the people probably have not been. Most of these people probably have not been to live events of any kind, because not every city has like a baseball team they can go to.
Well, I also want to mention this because this is actually, I'm not going to take credit for this because this is what Jay said, and he brought up a really good point too. A lot of these people haven't been working.
That's true.
So, like Detroit, right? Where it's, work can be very slim even when things are all right. Is that any surprise?
No, go ahead.
Go. Okay. No, I was going to move on. I have something else I want to say.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, this is also from Jay. He's a live event news analysis for the show, apparently. Because I have, fellas, the ticket or the prices for tickets for SummerSlam. All right, want to play a little game?
Tickets for SummerSlam.
Now, where's SummerSlam this year?
All right.
Where's SummerSlam?
It's in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Nosebleeds.
Oh, okay.
Mike,
Las Vegas.
quick.
Okay.
I need it. Quick answers. Nosebleeds. How much do you think they are, Mike?
$5.
All right, Pepper. Come on, Pepper.
It's fucked up. We're gonna say $30.
Are you guys ready? Okay. Well. Okay. Wait. We'll hold that on. Okay. Ready? So, you guys said that. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys these prices at the end.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, we'll say it's the upper bowl, but it's looking dead on to the ring and entrance ramp. Guess the price.
Upper bowl. Okay.
Now, this is also, I just want to mention this. You got to remember, this is being held where the Las Vegas Rams play. Mike,
105.
105. Okay. Pepper?
130.
130. Okay. Middle bowl, just general middle bowl. Mike, I need fast answers. Come on, guys.
Okay. So I said 105. I'll go 130.
Okay. Pepper?
220.
All right. Middle bowl,
I'm
but
going
better
real
seats.
cheap.
Mike?
Lower bowl?
Yeah,
Lower bowl,
like
middle
yeah,
seat,
it's like little lower bowl. Yeah, I would say lower bowl. We'll say.
Oh, well, 350.
Okay, Pepper.
380.
All right. So floor seats.
Oh boy. 600.
Pepper.
800.
All right. Third row.
That'd be 1200.
Pepper.
I gotta go higher. 1250.
All right. Let's go. Try and remember
50
your.
bucks.
So let's go back up to the top. Top nosebleeds. Mike, you said $5.
Yeah.
Pepper, I think you said like 30.
Yeah.
They're $98. All right. So we said there's still up high, but not as bad seats.
Facing the stage.
I think Mike, you said like 30
105.
on this or something like that. Pepper, you said
105.
I don't know 50 or something.
I said
Anyway.
I said over. I was over 100.
Okay, you said over 100. $554.
Oh my god. All right, we don't need to read our numbers anymore. Just continue.
Yeah, middle like lower bowl, like middle section, 374. Lower bowl, $812. Floor seats, $2,305, and
Oh
third
my
row,
God.
$4,000.
Oh my god. Wow.
I
I
think
would
you guys
rather
were a
go
little
on-
off.
I would rather go on a cruise around the world than sit at SummerSlam.
And-
watch it.
I find that crazy because they don't draw in Vegas. Vegas is tough.
And I just want to mention, this is also from Jay. I would love to have him on the show. He's very knowledgeable about current product.
Clearly, he knows more than we do. We should get him.
At the same night that SummerSlam is taking place, so is a Manny Pacquiao fight in the same city.
What? The same night.
Same night.
That's why the prices. I bet you that's why the prices are the way they are. Two events in the same
Well,
day.
Now we gotta remember.
That's probably
gotta
later.
remember, SummerSlam. They're pegging to be as big as WrestleMania now. They're going to have, the talk is Roman Reigns and John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, maybe. There's talk that Cardi B's going to be there, right? Like they're pulling out stops. They're trying to get she's an A-list at this point right now, you know. So like they're pulling out stops. They're trying to peg this to be a huge event, like WrestleMania level.
It's the biggest party of the summer. That's their tagline. They are trying to make it the second biggest to WrestleMania.
And this stadium is pretty new too.
Oh, the Ram Stadium, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Allegiant Stadium, Allegiant.
If they sell that out, they're gonna make a big profit.
now we were just
Hey.
talking about their ticket sales where they might be struggling, but hey.
Well, I think, but this is the problem with the touring. Why would you go to a Raw or SmackDown if you had the money to go to SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying that?
That's the thing. No one has the money to go to SummerSlam.
Well,
I mean, there's few, but
Now-
the point being is like, okay, let's look at what. What was nosebleeds? $89.
sure.
What did I say?
89, yeah.
Or 98. $100 for like nosebleeds, right? That will get you floor seats, maybe mid or lower bowl at like a Raw.
Do you? Maybe I'm just grasping at straws here, but since it's in Vegas, I wonder if some of these casinos are going to buy up a lot of these tickets and then sell them or gift them through the casinos.
That's a great idea because I bet you that's what they're aiming towards, right? Because if casinos will pay, $500, right, for a ticket.
Well, it's nothing for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they could get people playing games and stuff to win the tickets.
Now, I'm also wondering if there's any ticket packages with casinos and that for people who would like to travel there, right?
Probably.
Oh yeah, there's always travel packages with those pay-per-views.
Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on. Pepper, do you have any more news for us?
I wanted to touch on something I meant to go over last week. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Mickie James. She was on the NWA show last week.
Yes.
And Billy Corgan announced there's going to be 2 pay-per-views in August, and one is going to be a women's only NWA pay-per-view, and Mickie James is going to be the executive producer of that show.
Wow, she's busy. She was on Impact this past week.
Well, sort of.
Really? You had to bring that up? I know what you're talking about. I saw it.
Anyway.
I sent it to you. I literally sent you the clip. I was so pissed off. I was so ticked off.
No, Mike, I think you misunderstood that clip. We'll get into this paper. I just want to say this. I think you misunderstood that. It wasn't a dig at Mickie James. It wasn't calling her trash or anything like that.
Oh.
It was more of a dig towards WWE because when they released her, they sent her stuff to her in a garbage can or a garbage bag with Mickie on it. Yeah, so that's where it was. It was nothing against Mickie James.
It was
No.
If anything, I think it was teasing that Mickie James might be coming into the company.
It was they did a couple references to garbage bags on that show. They were trying to be a little too cute with it, but that you are correct. That's what I believe that was alluding to. But that's they try to be too funny on that show sometimes.
I found it hilarious, so
I thought it was kind of lame, but I mean I understood it too.
All right. Well, let's get into this pay-per-view, all women's pay-per-view.
So basically what it's supposed to be is it's an invitation to any unsigned or signed talent.
That's what she said.
Yeah, because that's how it works. You have to be unsigned or signed.
Yeah, but they say it tongue in cheek, like we're gonna leave this open to anybody who works for a company that wants to come in. Like, you know, WWE is just gonna be all over that, of course. But
they'll send in Nia Jax.
Or you know, that would that would get a lot of attention. But anyway, so after that was announced, NXT TakeOver happened last weekend, and Triple H had a conference call, and the women's wrestling came up because they announced this pay-per-view, and one of the journalists asked him if they were ever going to do another Evolution show, and Triple H kind of made a tongue-in-cheek comment about he didn't. He said it's on. He said he's open to it. He said, but he doesn't quite understand the equality argument. He said because he believes they feature the women pretty heavily in the WWE, and he said that in his opinion, the best women are here if you want to come wrestle them. You can say that about any company, and it's an opinion, and you're entitled to it. But the best women are here. And that sparked a huge outrage with all the unsigned women's wrestlers or throughout the world. So anyway,
I can't argue with that.
With Triple H?
Yeah, with what he said.
They do have the best women wrestling.
They don't have all the best women, but
no.
They do have, out of all the rosters, the best roster.
Yes, they do. Like, if you you can look at it from two ways. You can look at it in ring, and you can look at it as star power, and they have both.
No, let's get back to this NWA. I got a question about it.
Yes.
Did they announce how many women that will possibly be in this tournament or anything like that?
No, they haven't announced that. They just
have they announced any of the women in the tournament?
No, they have not.
All right, because I'm assuming we'll probably get Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa.
I wonder if
Thunder Rosa. Why did I say Thunder Rosa?
I wonder if they'll have
Thunder.
and more of an. I wonder if they'll have a bigger AEW presence. Like, I wonder if they would get like a Britt Baker or somebody for that.
ABO.
Oh boy. But I mean,
Use it.
So I imagine Impact would probably be have a presence in this, since they have a pretty extensive women's roster.
But are they on good terms with NWA?
Impact?
I don't think so. Billy Corgan.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think he wants to touch anything that's TNA or Impact.
Well, if it's just the talent, then maybe. But I don't, because Mickey James is running the show with his dime, so we'll see. But my guess is, like, Thunder Rosa has a wrestling school and a promotion, Mission Pro Wrestling. So imagine it'd be some of her students. It's going to be I imagine it's going to be a lot of indie people. And then
can you see a lot of people tuning in for this?
It depends how it's promoted and who's going to be on it. So if they said, because Mickey James is not wrestling on the show, she's still under no compete. But my guess is they have to have like actual names to draw you into the show. So I could see them bringing, someone like a Jazz or a Victoria, or
Jazz retired.
She's still wrestling. She's not done her retirement tour. She's retired from Impact.
Oh.
She is retired.
I know somebody that they can bring in if they want notoriety. If they want to get people talking and some mumblings. Tessa Blanchard.
Ooh. That would be an interesting one.
Especially because the Blanchard name in NWA. Not only that, but Tessa has been MIA for the last for like the last year, if you will, when it comes to North America, or not North America, but, Canada, US. I don't know if she's been working at all in Mexico, but.
She actually did make news this week, but not for wrestling.
Oh, please do tell.
She, she helped somebody that had a head wound that was laying on the side of the street. She actually helped get them medical attention and stuff. She saved a woman's life, is essentially what it was. But,
no, that's awesome though. Seriously though, that's awesome of Tessa Blanchard.
Matt.
So I think in terms of free agent stars, I don't think there's a bigger one than Tessa. So I wonder though, because she's been a free agent this whole time. Like, are promoters afraid to touch her, like to bring her in?
Well, this would probably be a temp
as a one shot.
Yeah, you do it for the tournament.
Oh yeah.
Even if she goes over in the tournament, I mean, you can have her for the next pay-per-view or whatever. Just have her for a little bit of time being, and then she can go and whether she goes to AEW, WWE, or just keeps doing what she's doing.
It would get a lot of attention. Now, NWA, they had a pay-per-view a couple weeks ago. I don't know what the fight numbers were, but their pay-per-view, like traditional pay-per-view numbers, was not good. It was really bad.
You don't say!
But that's pay-per-view. That's not the fight numbers. So that's a whole different thing.
What did I tell you about this company months ago when you said they were coming back, but they're not going to be on YouTube or anything, and you got to pay to watch them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making money that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're swimming in it right now.
Well, I don't know what their fight numbers are, because that's how you watch
their
the show.
Fight numbers, because that's such a big hot commodity there.
Derek, if you spent $30 for the pay-per-view through Fight, it's not reported as a pay-per-view number, and their show's already subscription through Fight. So that's why I wonder what the actual numbers were.
Yeah. Keep wondering, because I could tell you they're probably not good either.
I think they're doing okay. I have a feeling they'll be on TV within 2 years. So.
Yeah, Trevor Murdoch in the main.
People like him. You don't like Trevor Murdoch?
Derek, you're not gonna get Matt to switch on NWA. There's no way you're gonna do that. Like, you could talk all you want, he's not gonna switch on you. Sorry.
Hey, I have nothing against Trevor Murdoch, but to have him be the in the main event trying to sell your company, sell your pay-per-view and everything like that, no thank you.
Well,
Why not? What if he's rebranded himself? What if he's like
You could put a
rebranded
bow
himself?
tie on a piece of crap. It's still a piece of crap, okay?
so maybe Tessa should come in and challenge for the NWA World Title.
There you go.
I would guarantee you that would probably get
Wait
more
a
buys.
minute, hold on.
it would get a lot of attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying. I like Trevor Murdoch. I know
I know.
putting him down and all that. It's just he's not main event. Like I'm not buying him in the main event. That's like an indie level event.
They got good talent, but it's it is a tough haul. There's no question.
Mind you, I don't watch NWA because I don't want to pay to watch it on a weekly basis or anything like that.
I told you could watch it. I have the login. You can watch it.
No. That goes against my morals, okay? That's like stealing. I know something like Mike might do that.
Not
He might
paying for
pirate
it.
stuff, but not me, okay?
Wow.
Listen,
Wow.
you can watch it whatever you want.
I do want to say this though. I don't understand why they can't put like month-old Power episodes on YouTube.
They do put a lot of content on there, but it's not the whole show.
No, it's clips.
Yeah.
I'm not going out of my way to watch little clips of them. I don't even. It doesn't even appear in my algorithm on YouTube, even though I subscribe to them.
The last interview I heard with Billy Corgan, he did state that he felt that they were going to have a TV deal within probably a few years, but I think until you get on TV, this is kind of where it's going to be right now. So that's the bummer part when you hear something like this pay-per-view announcement, because it could be a lot bigger than it is.
Now, I just want to mention that Mickie James' arrival and her pay-per-view announcement has, where did it go? 122,000 views on YouTube, and it was posted a week ago.
Oh, wow.
It's their highest. Everything else has like 4,000 or 5,000 views. There's like 72,000 views for one, but that is their highest video.
And it's only like a 2-minute video. That's good.
Yeah.
So clearly it has attention.
Yes.
You have to start somewhere, but I think that's, you know what? I think that's the right thing to try to market, because no one else is really doing that. Who else is doing a women's only pay-per-view? But you need stars to sell it.
All right. Any other news?
Nothing major. I do want to talk a little bit of wrestling in the last week, though.
Well, I want to talk about the TakeOver. I did watch some of the TakeOver.
Hey, before you do, go ahead, Punga. Sorry.
Well, actually, I do have one quick question. I think it'll only take a couple minutes. I did see a news thing this week about Aleister Black, and I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts, you guys' thoughts on, where will he be going back to WWE? Will he turn them down? Does he want to go to AEW? That type of thing. Where do you see his future currently? What do you think, guys?
I have a feeling that they probably want to try to get him back in NXT. I guess it's going to be. Yeah, I think that it's probably what they should have did anyway. But my guess is this was I don't know. I'm so confused on his release when you're pushing the guy, re-debuting the guy. It had to have been financial or some political thing, and I would say if he does it go back, I'm sure it's going to be AEW. Where else would he go?
What would you see his wife coming with him if he goes back to WWE?
No, nobody knows what she's doing, because there was talk that she was back. No one ever announced it. She was doing stuff at the Performance Center. which is
That's right. I did see something. Yeah.
which that's a whole other story right there. So
Right. All right. Anyway,
he could go.
that's the only thing I saw.
He can go anywhere. To be honest with you.
True. That's true. He's very marketable. So.
Um.
Now
Derek.
appearing in the Impact Zone, Albert White.
That I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be. Before we get to TakeOver, can I play you just a snippet of my new favorite entrance song?
Oh boy.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Right.
Wait. Mike. Whose theme song is this?
Yes. Anyway,
all right.
That's
does
really
one,
what
do one of you J-Brons have the results?
The copyright to that song.
I have the results.
All right. So if you just, I fast forward through a lot of this, but
I'll run through it. I did like the show.
I love the whole in your house thing and how it was like out of the 90s and everything.
Yeah,
that was awesome. So the first match was the winner take all, Legado del Fantasma versus MSK and Bronson Reed. That was the opener. Bronson Reed's a star. He was awesome in this match.
I think Trey Miguel really let himself go.
Could you imagine if he would have went with those guys? Because they're over on that show.
There's a reason why he didn't go. I do not know. Like, I don't know why he wasn't there or he did not go NXT. I assume there's some sort of a reason though.
Anyway, it was nothing really to talk about. It was good. It was a pretty solid match. Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li was an interesting match. Mainly because of the end of the match. So Xia Li beats Mercedes.
I like Xia Li a lot.
Oh, she's great. Like, I love because. Go ahead, Punga.
Oh, I was just gonna say they're both superstars are excellent, I think.
So, I didn't like the original like vignettes and stuff but I like the way she came out of it. Like, she looks like a killer. Who is the what's the girl in the chair's name? Is it Mei Ying or
something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, that whole Mercedes stared her down and she got out of the chair and gave her the Tongan death grip. And like then she like threw Mercedes off the ramp into the chair. That was awesome.
Yes.
I loved it. I thought that was so cool. Because Mercedes, you look at her, she looks like she's gonna kill people. Like, she's like street tough. And then you have like this shadowy figure that just destroyed her. Literally just threw her center. I loved it. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about the ladder match. It was for the $1 million championship.
No, I did like this match. I really did like this match. It was a little bit. I don't know if I was upset with I was kind of upset with the ending. I didn't.
Really?
First of all, I didn't expect LA Knight to. I thought it was going to be Cameron Grimes, but I really was hoping he would win. But anyways.
Cameron Grimes is over like Grover.
Oh my god! I messaged you guys when I was watching it. He walked it, but here's the thing, Punga, because he was so over when he came out that I'm thinking during the match, I go, if LA Knight wins, he's gonna have a lot of heat because they want Grimes, and
they want Frank Grimes.
So pretty good. That bump at the end where Grimes went flying backwards onto that ladder, that looked pretty nasty. And LA Knight was the winner. They did fireworks and all that afterwards. I want to talk more about NXT this week. The follow up with it. Well, we can do that in a second, though. What was the other matches? It was Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez. Wasn't really much to write home about on that.
Yeah, I fast forward.
I like Raquel. I would still keep the title on her.
Yes,
But
I agree.
Ember Moon is times past on that, I would say. I liked her old character with the red eyes and all that stuff. Like, it was cool. This is just weird. The Fatal 5-Way match for the NXT title.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good for a multi-man match, for the most part, because it's all the talent in the match are all different, especially Cross. Cross is like so different, like of a worker, like than those guys, but he basically was destroying those guys on and off throughout the match, and ended up winning, retained the title again. I would keep the title on Cross. Promo character, like, he's one of the best in wrestling right now, I would say. Then the end of the match was been there for 7 years and it's time for a change, and then he walked off. So then it was fueling the rumors that he was going to resign from NXT.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was really well done. But then we go to NXT this week, that show was awesome this week. Actually, I watched the whole show, and the opening segment, Cross is in the ring, and Regal's there, and Cross is kind of berating Regal,
Which is funny because I kind of thought Cross was like a face when I was watching TakeOver.
You thought he was a face?
Yeah.
I didn't quite get that.
What gave you that impression?
Because he was working like a face. Like, he's like a face that doesn't pander to the crowd.
I could kind of see what you're saying. Only heels shouldn't pander to the crowd either.
But I'm saying he's a face, he's a face like that doesn't pander to the crowd. I'm not saying that. And I mean, like, if you look at it, like, you have Pete Dunne, who's a heel, Johnny Gargano, who is a heel, Adam Cole, who is a heel.
Yeah.
So I thought Kyle O'Reilly was a face, and I thought Karrion Kross was a face. Because if you look at that, there's only one face, and that would be Kyle O'Reilly. So that's why I also thought Karrion Kross was a face.
I don't think he'll ever be a face with that crowd. They don't tend to like
face me. I like Karrion Kross.
I like him too, but you know how that Smart Mark crowd is. They don't like guys that don't do flips. Anyway, he's kind of berating Regal. And all of a sudden, music hits and Samoa Joe walks out, which was pretty cool moment on NXT. So then Regal was going to make him the GM, but he said that he'd rather be an enforcer for Regal. So Regal said he can do that role, but he's not allowed to physically attack the talent unless provoked. And then Joe was on the mic, and like Cross said something to him, and he goes, "Why are you still in my ring?" And they had to stare down, and then Cross left. So it was teasing a potential altercation between Joe and Cross, which would be interesting scenario if that were to happen. And then throughout the show, they teased Joe like having issues with a lot of people. At one point, Adam Cole got in his face, and then he got choked out. Gargano backed down from they set the table pretty nicely for Joe as an on-screen character. And it is somewhat of a surprise since obviously WWE just released Joe like a month ago. So the story was that Triple H had some reservations about the WWE releasing Joe, and he could have used Joe.
I think it's because of the pipe bomb promo with CM Punk. It changed Triple H.
I'm sure Triple H was a huge fan of CM Punk's pipe bomb.
Are you
promo.
mocking me? Are you mocking me?
No. Never. Me mock you never.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You know what? Have Jay Love on the show next week, okay? I'm out of here.
No, I honestly, good God. It was the takeover I liked. Oh, sorry. The big
I
angle.
think you're right though, man.
Sorry, the big angle though was the coronation of the $1 million champion.
Yeah.
It, so
yes. Talk about that.
So DiBiase comes out, which by the way, Derek, I'm sure you'd agree, music's still iconic all these years later.
Mike, give us the first line in his theme song. There we go.
So DiBiase's in the ring. He's doing a promo. They're going to coronate LA Knight as the $1 million champion. He comes out. He gives him the title. He's doing his speech.
Yeah.
And then he said the one thing he always learned in wrestling is get rid of the things you don't need anymore. And then he decks DiBiase, knocks him down, and starts laying the boots to him. And the crowd was like really into it. Like I watched it, I'm like, what? Because I didn't quite expect that either. I thought maybe Ted would be with him for a little bit, not like killing him right away. And then Cameron Grimes came out. Huge face pop when he came out. And he came out flying fist, like he's going ballistic trying to like destroy LA Knight. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic because Ted DiBiase one-upped Cameron Grimes for over a month due to him being more rich than Cameron Grimes. And he and LA Knight ended up winning the $1 million title and turning on DiBiase. So now Grimes, who's the rich hillbilly, is aligned with Ted DiBiase going after the $1 million title. And before we end that, Derek, I have a trivia question for you.
All right.
Before LA Knight won the $1 million title, can you name the 4 people that held the $1 million championship?
All right. Ted DiBiase.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes.
Steve Austin.
Yes.
Ted DiBiase Jr.
You are correct.
You thought you could get me. or as Ted DiBiase and Mike Pungo would say,
anyway, I even if there was nothing else going on this show, I'm gonna watch just for this angle because I do find it very entertaining. And one match, Derek, that you probably would like to check out on this show, because I know you talked about them before, was Casey Catanzaro and what's her partner? Caden Carter. They went against Raquel and Dakota.
nice.
Tore the house down.
I like all 4 of them.
They tore the house down on this show.
Well, I actually watched the first part of NXT, but I haven't got to that part yet, so I'll have to check that out this weekend.
And then they also had Ciampa and Thatcher against the Grizzled Young Vets, which was pretty good. This was a good show. This was a really good show. The only topic I just wanted to mention real quick, I'm not going to talk about the show, but Eva Marie came back this week on Raw, and it sparked a lot of controversy. I actually tuned into Raw because all day it was all over social media that she was coming back, and I got a kick out of everybody ragging on her.
Was this her first public appearance in person?
On Raw, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought she was on Raw before, in person.
No, she did the vignettes.
Oh.
She just had vignettes with her sitting on a car or laying on a car or something. I don't know. It was.
And
anyway.
She brought, and Piper Niven made her main roster debut.
What happened was they build Eva Marie versus Naomi, and Eva Marie comes out, and then all of a sudden Piper Niven comes out behind her, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then Eva Marie doesn't get in the ring. Piper Niven gets in the ring, and she destroys Naomi and destroys her in minute and a half. Michinoku driver beats her. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Owns her. They didn't announce her name on the show, which all the internet marks went nuts about, thinking that was like the most tragic thing ever. But they probably already forgot about Daba Kato a couple months ago. Anyway, the thing is, she's Ava Marie's bodyguard.
She's supposed to be her muscle, so yes.
But then Ava Marie's talking about how they're going for the tag titles. So I could almost see this being a thing where Piper does all the work and Ava just cashes in on it. But kind
of like me and you guys. I do all the work and you guys just cash in on it.
What?
Exactly. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll say this. Eva Marie has so much heat on the internet. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's perfect. That's what you want.
I know. And people cannot see that it's working. Because you go on any group, go on Facebook groups for wrestling, go on Twitter. It's like, oh, she sucks. Why is she there? She can't wrestle. Who cares? Who cares? If you're making money, if people are interested in it, that's all that matters. And it's giving Piper Niven her break. And then on top of this, people were mad that Naomi lost it a minute and a half because Naomi's such a featured wrestler on this show. Like, come on, people, get a grip.
She's only been featured since she's come back, and she was only tag teaming with Lana, and then Lana got fired. Oh yeah, she's so featured. Yeah. Hey, buddy.
She's a main eventer. She's a main eventer on the internet.
Why isn't she holding any gold?
I want to have a segment where Piper Punga goes on rants.
You know what? What we need to do is we need to find things on the internet that like smart marks or whatever say, like a tweet or something, and get Mike's opinion on it. That should be the segment.
I will do that. I will.
Mike 100%. Mike versus Marks.
We're doing it next week.
Mike
Pepper, you have homework to do. You find some good tweets.
I see them all the time, so this would be great.
All right. Well, guys, I have to bug on out if I don't know if you guys want to continue or.
No, okay. I don't think there's anything else to go over. Next week, I'd like to talk about the China documentary. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, how are you? Send me a link or something if you find it. Is it on Crave? Okay, I'll watch it.
I seen it on there last night.
Oh wait, I can't. I'm not going to be here next week, so.
2 weeks.
You guys can talk about it. Well, I'll watch it anyway.
No, we'll wait. We'll do it. We'll all watch it. That gives us enough time to watch it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So get ready for that, guys.
Yeah. All right. So I'll take this home.
Take her home.
What were we just talking about? Oh, Mike versus Marks. All right. Well, there you go. Mike versus Marks official. Hear it all next week on the Three Falls podcast. I won't be here next week, fellas. So it's the tag team here, the Legion of Doom, Pepper and Punga, and our lowest ratings, lower than Raw, next week. So stay tuned.
Road Warrior Punga.
And you can hear the Three Falls podcast or follow the Three Falls podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, ICQ,
you can listen
Yahoo Mail, Gmail.
Okay. Bring it home, Derek.
Snail mail, and everywhere you get your podcast from. I'm Derek.
I'm
These
Matt.
insufferable people are Matt and Punga. Any last words, guys?
Go home.
Go Vegas Knights. Golden Knights.
See you next week.
Goodbye and good night.